Hello, welcome to Western Montana Views. I'm Ryan.
I'm Lee.
Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to talk about our fandoms again.
Yeah, because it's just so much fun to do.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Take it away.
You want me to start out?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a big fan of games.
Games? Yeah.
Games. You like games.
I like games.
I like games.
Who doesn't like games?
And,
Weirdos.
And because it's winter, and because we live in Montana,
Yeah.
and for a number of reasons why we're mostly indoors, primarily COVID. Number two is we don't ski. You'll have to go to the skiing channel. We don't snowmobile. You'll have to go to the snowmobile channel. We hole up.
We kind of hole up in the winter time, yeah.
Right. So, and because of COVID, we're doing our part by not being a burden to the medical community. We play a lot of games for entertainment. Board games. We play Monopoly.
Not lately, but we could.
Not lately, but we have the capability of doing it.
We have the means.
Right.
We have the plastic technology. We have the fake cash.
Right. There are all kinds. We have the fake money.
We have the
buy
fake
stuff.
Yep.
Any other board games that come to mind?
I mean, let's see. So, Splendor.
Splendor's a good game. Splendor was a real temporal game for me to start to learn.
Yeah.
It's what you young kids do before COVID, when you'd get together and play board games. All kinds of different names.
Yeah.
All kinds of different themes.
That's when you wanted to imbibe either with a beer or a blunt or something, and basically you're just playing games, and it's fun. Yeah.
Splendor, I do like it.
I do, yeah.
Because you have to play like 4 steps ahead in order to navigate where you go.
Right.
In order to get blocked off by your loved one, and then you have to develop a whole new strategy 4 moves ahead.
Yep.
Ryan likes to play chess.
And I was just going to bring that up too. Yeah.
Right. Well,
beat me to it.
What do you like about chess?
Well, it's one of the oldest strategy games ever created, and it still holds up.
Sure.
There's plenty of chess tournaments even that are shown on Twitch. There are, different ways to study different moves. It's just one of those things where you may be better than someone, but that person could still beat you if you don't plan enough ahead.
One missed
chance. Yeah.
Right.
That's enough to take down a master and to elevate kind of a new champion.
Right.
So,
I understand. What's your advice to people that always want to play chess?
It's more of a mental sport, I guess. Yeah.
Right. What's your advice to people that say, "Oh, I always wanted to play chess, and there's no better time to learn, but I know nothing about it, and I have no idea even how to get started"?
Well, you remember when we were back in Portland and I bought that chess set that also had the cards with them? Basically, the cards explain what the pieces do. Mm-hmm. And basically, just get a beginner chess board like that and just play with somebody else. You got to obviously learn the exact rules of chess, but once you know them, though, it's real easy to follow, and you notice how strategy is definitely based on how many steps ahead can you be in front of the person ahead of you.
How many levels ahead can you get?
Yeah.
And if you
while forming a noticeable strategy, like can you flank them on one side? Can you diagonal them on another side? Can you do like if you can keep all that in your head?
Do you think?
And it can honestly, it's kind of one of those things where it kind of shows your strategic thinking.
Do you think that each time you play chess, you get better, even if it's incremental?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually do.
Do you get to the point where you dream it when you go lay down in bed and try to go to sleep?
No, not quite. But then again, I haven't been playing, chess as much.
Well, the reason I asked that question is like with video games, first-person shooter. After a while, I dream it.
Yeah.
I dream it.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if chess is something like that, if you can actually see moves.
If I played it enough, I could probably dream about it, yeah.
Right.
But I do like it even just from an amateur level. The one thing that I can't do well in playing chess, though, is like time chess. I like having unlimited time.
Yeah.
to think, yeah.
You're not
within reason, though. It's like, come on, dude, make a move within like a few minutes. Come on, man, kind of deal. But
another question for you: if you saw old men in the park playing chess, would you have the nerve to go on up and ask for a game?
if I was in a big city, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd play. Yeah.
I thought I saw
No money involved. Just we're just playing a game. Yeah.
I thought I saw an episode on 60 Minutes about these young kids that were introduced to chess by a couple of old men, and these kids would go to the parks and they'd play with old men. Seriously, they played chess, and a lot of the old men were.
A lot of these little kids want to run away from old men if they actually want kids to go somewhere. No.
True that. You got to be careful about which old men.
Yeah.
It was all supervised.
No. Of course. I'm just teasing, but yeah.
Games, card games.
Card games. I like solitaire. As a basic one-off. Even just by yourself. Mm-hmm. I like that World Poker Tour game that I have. That's basically Texas Hold'em, basically. And the reason why I like that game is there's no adware, no spyware. You don't have to pay for more plays. That's on the Nintendo DS.
Oh, Nintendo DS.
Yeah,
we'll have to showcase that one of these shows.
It's just a cool game. Like the AI isn't anything great or anything fancy or anything, but
it's chargeable, it's portable, and it's
fun.
Still plays.
It's fun, and if you need to kill an hour without having to, kill other things, like in a first-person shooter or something, there you go. Because there are times where I do want a game and be in that adventure game and be in that action game. Then there are other times where it's like, I got an hour to kill, but I don't want to be too aggressive. So, that's...
Right.
So gamble. No.
Yeah, take up gambling.
Take up gambling.
Yeah, that penny...
It's yeah.
That
much better for you.
That coin jar.
No.
That coin jar that I prompted you to start filling in there. Rate it.
No.
Penny ante poker. Penny ante poker. Keep it to penny ante poker, and you'll still keep your friends at the end of the game.
But what other card games? We play Rummy. Yep.
Rummy. There's so many different variations of the game Rummy, but it's basically the same thing, only different.
Sure.
But for getting around with your family and playing a game, someone keeps score. What simpler way to interact with your family than something lame? Come on, kids, let's go do this. Dad.
Right.
Or, Mom, Dad, will you play us this? It's like, no. Shoots and ladders. It's like, if you're a parent and your children are older, how many times have you played Shoots and Ladders? You always put a good face on. It is technically a board game. Fun for all, up to about your 1,000th time.
That's kind of how I feel about the game Sorry.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
The game Sorry, after playing it like 1,000 times,
right. But
I don't know if I can play that game again now. How many times have we play? I played it, but it's a simple game and it works.
When you and your brother were young, one of the very first card games that both you learned was cribbage.
Yeah, definitely.
Cribbage is an ancient game. It's been played for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Sure.
And it is quite a relatable game. My next door neighbor lady, who she and her husband owned a bar, she asked me one summer, "Hey, do you play cribbage?" And I had never heard of it. Mm-hmm. And she goes, "Well, I'll tell you what. Come on over here, sit in this chair. We're outside, had a table." She goes, "This is cribbage. It's based on 15s." And I said, "Okay, it looks terribly difficult." And she goes, "Not once you get the hang of it." And she says, "The benefit of this, especially at your age," I was 12 at the time. She goes, "It'll make you faster than hell in math. And that'll help you in school." And I said, "Okay, all right." And you know what? She was right.
She was probably right.
You can group numbers from having experience playing cribbage.
Twos.
You can group your numbers in all kinds of different combinations and do math real fast.
That's kind of like the kids in The Wire learning math from rolling dice, basically. Like their teacher teaches them odds for craps. Yeah.
It's a great teaching tool.
So, yeah.
But
probably not the most healthy way, of course, and obviously it's like,
well, for your own benefit, you want to keep it to penny ante.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No matter what gambling game you have, if you're going to be friends at the end of the game,
Right.
You should keep it to penny ante.
Right.
When you play cribbage or we play rummy or something,
I'm willing to lose it if
or
I
when
go and
we
gamble.
play-
If I go and gamble, though, just a serious point in gambling. I'm not saying anyone should or shouldn't gamble. You're an adult, but if you do gamble, but at the same time, be willing to lose it all.
Oh, absolutely.
Whatever you're willing to lose. Basically. So when I was in Vegas, I was only willing to lose like $100 tops. And I ended up winning 40 on that 100, and guess what? I stopped.
You walked.
I walked.
Yeah,
and that's all I really wanted to know about gambling at that level, because I felt like I was on a hot streak to get that 40, because I was down and then I went up a really long time, and then I'm like,
and that's how I was.
Stop.
when I was a drinking man and when I was in a bar, I would visit a poker machine, quarter machine, where you feed it $1. And what I'd do is I'd feed it $1, and I would play the game out, because typically the first payout is $5.
Sure.
Well, if I wouldn't get my $5, all I would have lost is $1. And when I lost my $1, I turned around and walked away.
Mm-hmm.
So I never gamble any more than I can afford to lose. And if you are a gambler or have a problem with gambling or know someone that boasts about gambling, you'll notice that they only tell you about their wins.
Mm-hmm.
They never tell you about their losses.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
So anyway, rummy, cribbage, I highly recommend cribbage. If you have...
It's literally like a racing game, but with cards.
That's
how I describe cribbage if you've never played.
If your grandpa knows how to play cribbage and you don't, ask him to teach you.
He's going to kick your ass probably the first 1,000 times, the way my grandpa is.
And he laughs with delight. And you come back the next time when you visit, and you try him again.
Yeah.
And the way we play cribbage is 2 out of 3.
Sure.
2 out of 3 wins for the day.
Mm-hmm.
If you and I are playing and I skunk you the first game,
I'm out.
We don't play again for the rest of the day, and the day is mine because I won cribbage. And if you win the 2 out of 3, don't be talked into the 3 out of 5.
No.
Because you're going to lose. So when we skunk Grandpa on a particular day, or we beat Grandpa on a particular day, we never let him talk us into 3 out of 5.
No.
We walk away.
We're done.
We walk away talking shit.
Yeah.
Because we would have it no other way.
Well, he would do it to us, so.
He would do it to us. Rub it in.
He would.
Cribbage, rummy, war. If you're young.
That's just the basics, man. Like, we're getting to war now, yeah.
Hey, you never know what age our viewers might be.
True.
And if you're 6 or 7 and you have never played war or don't even know what war is, get a deck of cards, shuffle them up, divide them in half, shuffle each half again, and then you turn over a card. Your opponent, yourself. High card
wins, yep.
Whoever gets all the cards at the end
wins.
And it will take you all day.
Yeah.
Maybe not. There are some quick wins.
Yeah.
More things that we love. Movies. Let's talk about movies.
Movies, yeah.
Is there anything new that's going to be released out to the theaters are really not in operation right now. But I'm talking about recent releases.
The one I'm looking
future.
The one I'm looking forward to is probably the new James Bond movie. Is the one I'm looking forward to. But that's still probably 6 months out.
Is that Daniel Craig's last movie?
Last one. Last 007. No Time to Die. And it's supposed to be like 2 hours and 45 minutes long, so I joke that the title should actually be called No Time to Pee.
No Time to Pee.
Because it's nonstop action, obviously. Like, you don't want to miss a second of it,
Right.
Yeah. So it's a Bond movie. Yeah, you don't want to miss anything of that, So there's that. Movie-wise, let's see. I don't know. Like, what else is out there?
Well, I'll tell you what you and I watched here, and it was just before the pandemic hit.
Okay.
We watched The Martian.
Oh, The Martian. Yes.
Watch The Martian. If you want to see someone that's going to survive a health situation, watch Matt Damon in The Martian. And the line that he said that has stuck with Ryan and myself is, we're going to science the shit out of this. Doesn't he say something to
He
that
does.
effect?
He does. Yeah.
Well, we're just going to have to science the shit out of this.
Yep.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And any time since COVID has started, when it comes to a question of how we can be safe,
Right.
we always say, or invariably we say,
Yeah.
we're going to science the shit out of it.
And by that we don't mean necessarily being 100% accurate, da-da-da-da-da. It's just we're taking our best judgment,
And
doing our
implementing it.
best with it, and implementing it.
Right. And hoping that it works out for us.
So far, none of us have been hit with COVID.
So far.
So,
Old releases.
if we're gonna get into old releases, but what do you think? But let's. Sorry, go ahead.
Newer releases. You want to talk about some more?
Maybe just a little bit. Yeah. What do you think is coming out? Should come out?
I heard that. Is it Karen? Who does the Avatar movies?
James Cameron.
Is there a new Avatar movie that he's working on?
Yes, but he's been talking about that for at least a decade, man.
Really? It's been that long ago that Avatar came
since the
out?
very first one, yeah. And it holds up. It actually holds up, but it's just, because I actually watched it about a year ago, and it holds up, but still.
I remember one of your brother's friends came to our house to visit right after he had seen Avatar.
Yeah.
And your brother had his friends, and they were playing a card game.
But I remember you talking about, Avatar's going to be awesome in 2006. I remember you were talking about, Avatar in 200006,
Your brother's friend walked in, and he goes, I want to be an Avatar. I thought it was so funny. Everybody wants to be like Luke Skywalker, Star Wars, or an Avatar, or this or that or the other thing. Of course, no harm in that.
Right.
No harm in that. Other movies, new movies that we've seen. We just watch movies.
We've been watching a lot of series, but not necessarily movies. I mean, we've been watching.
When we watch a movie, typically it is something that's on one of the many channels that are on TV.
Yeah.
We watched Inglourious Basterds.
Oh, yes, yeah. And any of the Tarantinos. Any of the
Tarantino stuff. We even saw Kill Bill.
Yeah.
A while back.
You hadn't seen Kill Bill 1 or 2, have you?
I saw Kill Bill 1.
You saw Kill Bill 1, yeah. And then, we watched a reactions video for Kill Bill 2. That's what it was, yeah. And that was most of that, yeah.
Right. And those movies, they still hold up. They're still...
yeah.
They're still an escape.
Definitely.
When the movie's over, you're glad that you're just a normal person at your house.
Yep.
Because although it looks cool to be sword fighting with samurai swords, I would never want to try it. I would never want to try it.
No, yeah. And obviously, any of the Tarantino movies, he's paying homage no matter what it is. So it's like he's paying homage to those Japanese action movies in Kill Bill. He's paying homage to the Westerns when he's doing Django. He's,
Sure, absolutely.
That's a movie we need to actually watch is that Hollywood movie, his new one, where it's Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. It's in the 70s. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Is that a new?
That's a Tarantino one. Yeah, it's not even it's one we haven't watched yet. We almost need to watch it.
We watched one with
soon. So
who?
Hey. Maybe we'll watch that soon.
Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
It's an old movie.
5, 6, 7 years. Yeah.
Still good.
Still good.
So if you come along these movies, you might say, I just can't sit and watch TV anymore. Well, it depends maybe primarily on what you're watching. We watch too much news.
Lately, too much news, yeah.
We love to break away from the news cycles of the different channels that we tune into and stuff for escapism. You need a rest. You need to go someplace else and enjoy something before you come back home,
right,
so to speak. And even if the movie, your critique should never be, I don't watch anything that's old. I only watch something that's new.
Yeah, that's
You're
ridiculous.
You're going to starve to death.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Hollywood has not been doing a lot of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
So don't wait to see. Good movies are good movies.
Yeah.
right? So,
even just classic cinema, Godfather, Star Wars,
the classics.
to us classics, yeah. But there's also stuff from the 50s and 40s and stuff too. So
Right.
Obviously,
If you say, I have too many chores around the house to sit down and watch any movie, I think that you are giving up on it. What I like sometime is a particular network that will run a movie that is normally an hour and a half, but it takes 3.5 hours to do it because the commercial breaks are 10 minutes.
So I'll tell you a
in
movie.
the middle. So in those 10 minutes,
yeah,
I can get a hell of a lot of job done and still get my ass back in the chair.
And then there are some.
Come back from a commercial.
So there are certain movies, older movies out there too, that are just like, well, I'm watching the end of this fucking thing. So it's like Jurassic Park. Well, I guess I'm watching the end of this.
Right.
Shawshank Redemption. That's gonna be another one that's like, well, my whole day is spent because it's gonna take 5 hours on network.
I'll give you.
I'm watching the whole thing.
I'll give you.
At some point, I had to actually buy Shawshank so I can just be like, nope, I'm skipping this.
I'll give you an example of something. I'll give you an example of something that I do that you've laughed at.
I literally bought Shawshank for that reason.
How many times have I watched Footloose trying to catch the scene?
Too many.
Where Kevin Bacon teaches his buddy how to dance.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
You're like, oh, I missed it again.
You missed it
like 3 times, in 1 week.
I even tried to watch the entire thing.
Yeah.
And for some reason or another,
you just forgot where it was.
I got called out of the room and missed it again.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, if it's on today, I'm going to have to tune to it and go and say,
and miss it again.
No. Yes, I keep trying to catch that scene where Kevin Bacon is trying to teach his buddy, and I forgive me for not knowing the actor's name, teaching his buddy how to dance. It's probably one of the best cinematic things I've seen.
But what makes those movies good or fun too is like you want to get to the end of that movie. You want to see conflict resolution or whatever. Like you want to see what happened at the end of Shawshank. You want to see what happened, as finality of like a horror movie or something. If you're into that. Basically, people want to find that escapism, whereas I think with TV shows, people are actually looking for realism, weirdly enough. Mm-hmm. Because you only get 2-3 hours. You only get like 2-3 hours with a movie, right? Mm-hmm. So now it's like, oh, well, how can we make this more realistic,
Yeah.
Even if it's stylized,
Right, and I understand what
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe I'm too in the weeds with that, but it's kind of cool to think about. What else do we have?
Well, if we were talking about movies, let's talk about TV.
TV? All right.
All kinds of different genres: comedy, drama, game shows.
Sure.
There's serials. There's special presentations. You turned me on to Clone Wars.
Yes,
Animation.
Clone Wars. Yes.
Animation. How many seasons?
Oh, jeez. I want to say there's like 8 or 9, and there's like probably 15, 20 per.
And this is what struck me. Okay.
That's a lot.
I didn't want to start watching Clone Wars. I really did not want to.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because they go on forever.
Yeah.
The reason I didn't want to was that I didn't want to learn something new.
Yeah.
I didn't want to try to keep track.
Sure.
Of the characters and nuances of each character. But once I started watching it, I compared it to another animated TV show that I used to watch a lot when I was way young. Mm-hmm. And that was Johnny Quest.
Okay.
And Johnny Quest was a groundbreaking achievement in animation. It was one of the very first...
There was action, adventure...
It was one of the first color cartoons on TV. That was shown in prime time.
Yeah,
it had a lot of modern innovations like the M16 rifle, hovercrafts, scuba gear, all this stuff. Right, loved it. Enter Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Well, the animation blows Johnny Quest right out of the water.
Right
out of the water. Mm-hmm. The voice acting, way better. Mm-hmm. So in comparing it to that,
And it only gets better. We only watched the first season. It only gets better.
It's
so
the difference between the 20th century and the 21st century.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so kudos to Clone Wars.
But also, you know, I'll say this though too. Kudos to Johnny Quest, because then it also spawned off one of my favorite shows, which is actually the Venture Brothers, because it's it's like a, you know, a satire, a comedy based on comic book superheroes fighting each other basically, and or villains, and it's just a ridiculous and basically the whole thing is a ridiculous premise basically. Like, this shit would not work in the real world, but somehow they try to make that work in the real world, and it's hilarious, you know, because it's like they have their own unions between good guys and bad guys, like literally unions, you know, like trade unions, you know. They have whatever, like they can only face off against each other of a different kind, because one character just literally took the dome off of, you know, another character, basically shot him in the head and killed him basically, and it was a level 10 versus a level 1, so like, no, we gotta match these guys up basically. So you get matched from the beginning when you join one of these, you know, unions basically. You get matched up with an alter ego super villain or superhero that you have to go against basically.
And the voice acting is just
the voice acting's great, and it's only done by only like a few people too, like 5, 6, 7 people.
Who plays the
Brock Sampson?
Who does Brock Sampson?
What's his name? Patrick
Warburton.
Yes,
And
that dude is funny. That dude is funny.
From the time that he showed himself to the public.
Yeah.
He has been great.
Mm-hmm.
He is what he is, and we all love him for it. So shout out to Patrick Warburton.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Shout out, yeah. Keep it up. Show us more.
Yeah, I wish, man. I really do.
Cereals.
Sure.
Cereals, meaning a season.
You mean not pouring in a bolt? No, okay. Season to season. Yeah.
TV.
Yeah. Cobra Kai.
Why?
Yeah.
Because it's fun.
It's fun. That's good. All. The backstory is getting definitely way more, you know, it's getting interesting. I really do think that as far as spin-offs to regular series go, it's probably one of the best as far as being able to spin off and making it succeed.
What I think I like about it is that everyone from cast to crew is really enjoying each other's company.
Yep.
I believe that they probably don't take themselves too seriously.
No.
With the plot lines, but what they do take seriously actually is the martial arts.
Oh, yes.
Now, those young people that are doing the martial arts, I would imagine that there's a small percentage of them that really don't know what they're doing, and they only do what they're blocked to do for a particular shot. But there are some true artists in there. There are. The majority of those young actors are well versed in martial arts, and I would never want to step onto the mat and pull a John Stossel.
Yeah.
You know what John Stossel did to the World Wrestling Federation?
Said it was fake or something?
He said it was fake. He went up to interview him with a microphone, said, "What you're doing is fake." And this WWE wrestler slapped John Stossel to the ground, and he says, "How fake is that?"
Yeah, I mean...
And John Stossel suffered hearing loss for the longest time, but he didn't give wrestlers a shit anymore. And I would never step onto the mat with the Cobra Kai kids and say this is all phony, because they would twist you up in a knot.
Yep.
And laugh at your whiny little butt.
Well, the thing is when Eric, who is my brother, and I were watching wrestling at a young age, you know, the thing is this was after, like, Hell in the Cell. This was after, if you don't know what that is, look up 1998, Hell in the Cell, Mankind versus Undertaker.
Wow, you just internalized that.
Oh, yeah. No. Definitely no. Look it up, because it's one of those things where it is one of the most brutal fights I have ever seen, and I'm like, okay, and so many things go wrong. Like, he wasn't supposed to throw him off the top of the cage. He does. He wasn't supposed to power bomb him on top of the cage and have it fall through. He does. It's just all this different stuff, and it's like, that is the most brutal fight I have ever scene, and it is staged, choreographed.
That's
what I took from it. So yes, there is some fake wrestling. Yes, some of it's just ridiculous. I haven't watched it in years, but at the same time, there was some true brutal. This is a true brutal match, to watch.
Well, they do know what they're doing, and for anyone that would walk up and wag their finger in front of them, they'll pull back a bloody stump.
Whoever went to that match got their money's worth. That's for sure. I'm telling you now.
I highly appreciate the entertainment value of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you a story about wrestling.
I might have to show you that match after, because you'll go, holy shit.
I have a story about
it's about 15 minutes
TV
long.
wrestling.
Yeah.
My dad used to love it. And what he'd do is the night that it was on, it would typically come on around the time that we were having dinner. So he'd sit at the end of the table. That way he could eat his meal. And he could turn and face into the living room and see the wrestling and watch it. Well, one day we got a brand new color TV.
Uh-huh.
And we hooked it up, and then dinner came around, and Dad's wrestling came on. And my dad was so happy he could watch wrestling in color.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the two contestants of the match that he was watching, one slammed the other into the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
And he turned away bleeding, and I don't know, must have caught himself a little vein or a little artery, because it was obviously bleeding more than what they had even planned for.
Yeah.
And that color TV, that RCA color TV,
red,
reproduced that red so clearly. My dad goes, "This TV is great." And my mom was saying, "Raymond," because me and my sisters, of course, at that time were standing in the living room.
Right.
Left our dinner chairs to go see what Dad was hooting and hollering about. And yes, indeed, that RCA color TV reproduced colors real well. So that's my story about wrestling. Back to Cobra Kai. They really know what they're doing. It's wonderful to see the other side of the story. There's a character named Johnny.
Johnny, yeah.
And Johnny...
He's the main, he's considered the main antagonist, and first, for people that don't know, he's the first antagonist in the first Karate Kid.
Right. Before you
know about Kreese.
Before you watch Cobra Kai,
yeah.
If you haven't seen the Karate Kid movies, there's 3 of them.
Yep.
Watch those first. If you've got nothing else to do and you're still waiting for your vaccine, if you can watch the first 3 movies, I don't know how you'd get them up on your computer, Chromecast. Somehow. Watch those 3 movies first and then plug right into Cobra Kai. It's
Season 1, yeah.
Season 1, Netflix.
Yep.
Start at the beginning and go for it.
I believe it's on YouTube as well.
And you actually see the other perspective, because in the Karate Kid shows, it's all about LaRusso.
Oh yeah, it's all about Daniel LaRusso and him being the new kid, and he thinks he's getting bullied, picked on, and he defends himself, but he's also kind of a cocky shit sometimes too, you know.
So the reason that I mentioned Johnny first is that in one of the shows they showed the same incidents from Johnny's perspective, and I said, that's brilliant. I had never thought of that before. So from a producer, director, writer perspective, good.
They kind of played with that a few years ago, and in How I Met Your Mother, they played with that concept a little bit. But now, but they flesh into a 3-season thing, true powerhouse of a show, and
so Cobra Kai. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
I think we're gonna have to wrap up with that.
Yeah, oh no, I wanted to talk about music real quick. Talked about music in the previous show. This is what I'm going to listen to today. I'm going to do some selected cuts. Yeah, I haven't heard them for a long time. And the other show I was talking about Marty Robbins. I'm diverse. I'll go to Marvin Gaye. Anyway, goodbye.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for watching Western Montana Views. Please like us. Please ring the bell if you're on YouTube. Really helps the channel out. Peace out.
We'll see you next time.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.